Hello, my learners. Greetings from me, Sir Julius. Today, we would like to consider a word of people. Being our first video lesson, I expect you to be fully prepared to learn all you can to really understand the concept. Today's lesson is not a difficult one. If you are able to carefully study the video and then the attached material, I have no doubt that you will fully understand the topic. All right. So, what do you have today? Before we kickstart, let's start with our starter. I have map of Ghana, and I have the regions, not all labeled. Some are omitted. The omitted ones are labeled with Roman numerals I to X. So I expect you to spend some time. I'll give you at least 1 minute to glance through and give me the names of the labeled regions. All right. All right, wonderful. I hope you're able to mention, if not all the labeled regions, at least 5 of them. So now let's move on to look at the answers. The regions labeled I to X include I, Upper West, II, Northern Region, III, Northeast Region, IV, Savannah Region, VIN, Bono East Region, VI, Ahafo Region, VII, Eastern Region, VII, Western Region, IX, Volta Region, and of course, we have X, Greater Accra Region. I hope you're able to score all. If you are able to score, at least 5, you have done very well. If it's less than that, don't worry. I think time was not enough for you to get all the answers. You still have the capability. So thumbs up to all of you. All right. What do you have today? And strand all around us, which is the umbrella, we are looking at population and settlements. And specifically, I expect you to be able to describe pattern of internal migration. So what comes to mind when I talk about pattern of internal migration? Don't worry. Let us observe some keywords. and then I believe you will fully understand the meaning of the expression pattern of internal migration. Okay, so under keywords, we're going to look at, first of all, the word migration. Migration. So what is migration? We're saying it's the movement of people from one place to another with the intentions of settling, either permanently or temporarily, at a new location. Of course, you can have other definition: movement of people from one place to another for the purpose of settling in a new location or in a new place. What is our next keyword? External migration. This expression stems from migration. When we talk of external migration, it is the movement of people from one country to another. Some also refer to external migration as international migration. That is inter, between nations, international. All right. Then I guess you know the third keyword, internal migration. That is the movement of people within a country. So as people travel from, let's say, Tema to Accra, that is described as internal migration. It is within the country. What is our next keyword? We're going to look at settlements. Remember, I mentioned settlement earlier under the substrand, population and settlements. So settlement has several meanings in English, grammatical expressions and whatever. But here we are considering the geographical meaning. By geographical meaning, I mean meaning relating to the place on the Earth's surface. So it means geographically, it is a community or locality in which people live. A community or locality in which people live. Then under settlement, we have rural settlements. Rural settlements. So what does it mean? Any settlement in the areas defined as rural by government office. Rural by government office. It consists of villages, hamlets, farms, and so on. Detail of this will be looked at later. Then, of course, you can guess the next kind of settlement: urban settlements. So, urban settlements is any settlement in the areas with high density of human. That is human density with human created structures, usually well laid out rectangularly or in square forms. So it's more planned, well planned. The structures are modern with a sophisticated, technology. So that is a bit of difference between that of rural and urban settlements. All right. Now let's get to the pattern of internal migration, the focus of our lesson today. So I will display two pictures for you. Then from there we'll brainstorm to understand the meaning of pattern of internal migration. Now, before I proceed, look at the two pictures very well. The one on your left compared with the one on your right. Is there any difference? Yes, there is. The first one looks a bit modern. I hope so. And then the second one, more local, primitive kind of, settlement. So, guess the type of settlement the first picture represents. And then the second one, what kind of settlements does it represent? Remember, in our keywords, we look at two kinds of settlements. So the first one and the second one, what are their names? All right. I hope you mentioned about urban settlement for the first picture and then rural settlement for the second picture. If you have done so, then thumbs up, you have done very well. If not, you missed them up, don't worry. You'll get to know it better. Now, what are we saying here? Remember, we say migration is the movement of people from one place to another. Now, if you look at these two pictures, people do move from one of these settlements to the other. You agree with me that the movements could be from the urban settlement to the rural settlements, or the rural settlements to the urban settlement, or even from one urban settlement to another urban settlement, and then a rural settlement to another rural settlement. Now, this gives rise to 4 patterns of internal migrations. Remember, these movements give rise to 4 patterns of internal migration. 4 patterns of internal migration. So now let's look at each of the pattern. Now, before we go through the patterns of internal migration, can you guess the first one, or possibly one of them? All right, I hope this could be in your list. Urban rural migration. Very good. Urban rural migration. And what does it mean? It refers to movement of people from urban to rural areas. For example, movement from cities to crop and fish farming areas. Now, the question is, can you give an example of city to village migration pattern? I hope you can. The next pattern of internal migration is rural migration. And what does rural migration mean? Movement of people from rural to rural areas, right? For example, people moving from a crop farming area to a fish or another crop farming area. Again, can you give an example of village to village migration pattern? All right, I hope you do. The next one is urban to urban migration. And here, as the name suggests, movements of people between urban areas. That is from one urban area to another urban area. For example, movements from a commercial or industrial area to another commercial area. Can you give an example of city to city migration pattern? I guess so. And what do you think will be the last one? I might not define the last one, so I leave that to you to describe urban rural migration by yourself or with a partner. I hope you do your best to get the answer yourself. All too soon, would like to bring this lesson to an end. But before I do, what have you learned so far? What have you learned so far? All right. We looked at the meaning of migration. as one of the keywords. And then we also touch on other relevant keywords like internal and external migration. We also define settlements and look at the two kinds of settlements, rural and urban settlements. Then we proceed to look at patterns of internal migration. We mention urban to urban migration, urban to rural migration, rural to rural migration, and there's one that I left for you to describe yourself, that's urban to rural migration. All right, what do you expect next time we meet? Next time we're going to look at reasons why people move from one place to another. Why will Amma move from a rural settlement area to an urban settlement area? And why will Kofi also move from urban to rural? They all have their reasons. And so I would plead with you to do your little research. And so in our next lesson, we will delve into detail to look at the reasons why people migrate from one place to another, and also challenges people face in migration, and of course we will suggest solutions to the challenges. All right, this is Sergilius once more greeting you and hoping to see you again. But before I wrap up, finally, you are reminded that attached to this video on your page is a PDF file, so that if you are not able to come online to watch a video, you can as well go through the notes after downloading the PDF file and then learn all you can. You are not restricted